So what is up, guys? It's your boy Dream Hoops, and yes, you read the title right. I believe the Miami Heat are going to win the championship this upcoming season. Yes, I know, crazy. Especially coming off this last season where the Miami Heat had such high expectations to make a deep postseason run was very reasonable, since in the 2020 bubble run, no one, not even me, a Miami Heat fan, thought we were going to make it to the NBA's finals. It took a combination of an all-time performance by Jimmy Butler, also Bam Adebayo playing like a top 3 center in the league and being the defensive anchor for the Miami Heat that year, also a young promising rookie in Tyler Hero who was playing at a borderline all-star type level, and various role players who were playing better than they did in the regular season. A combination of all of that led to an NBA Finals appearance that hasn't been done since 2014. And we still managed to push the Los Angeles Lakers to 6 games while dealing with various injuries, such as Goran Dragic only played 2 games in that series since he was dealing with a fractured foot, and Bam Adebayo, who only played in 4 games, who was dealing with a wrist injury. Still, with all of those injuries, the Miami Heat were still able to push the Los Angeles Lakers to 6 games. But coming into this last season, Pat Riley felt like he didn't need to do any major changes to the roster and felt like just doing a few retooling to the roster was all they needed to go back to the finals. But it turned out to be very wrong. Since we got knocked out in the first round this year, also we got swept by the team that we easily beat in the second round that year, the Milwaukee Bucks. And also players that were crucial to us making it to the finals in 2020 underperformed this year by a wide margin. But you could make the excuse that the Miami Heat had to deal with the shortest offseason in NBA history. We've also had to deal with COVID-related issues during the season and many injuries to the core Heat players, such as Goran Dragic missed 22 games during this year, Butler missed 20, Tyler Hero missed 18, Kendrick Nunn missed 16, and Bam Adebayo missed 8, and Victor Oladipo, a player that we did trade for in the trade deadline, only played 4 games as a Heat player because unfortunately he went down with a knee injury and had to miss the rest of the season. But all of these are just excuses if I'm being completely honest. We straight up got whooped in the first round. The Milwaukee Bucks team got better while we regressed. But during this offseason, Pat Riley knew that he needed to make some changes to the roster if we ever wanted to go back to the NBA Finals. And in my opinion, I feel like the changes that we did will make us go back to the NBA Finals, and I think we're going to win it. So let's just get right into the video. Make sure y'all subscribe, you like, and hit the notification bell. But let's get right into it, y'all. So let's look at the offseason moves the Miami Heat did add this past offseason. Looking at this graphic I made, you can see the players that we were able to acquire, the players that we were able to retain, and the players that we lost this past offseason. So let's start off with the biggest splash the Miami Heat did do this offseason in my opinion, and that was adding Kyle Lowry in a signing trade, sending Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa to the Toronto Raptors. Now I know, losing Goran Dragic was a big blow to us Miami Heat fans, since he's been here with us since day one, and he's been a part of the Miami Heat organization for 7 years now. But let's just be completely honest, there needed to be a change in the point guard position, and adding Kyle Lowry was a clear upgrade over Goran Dragic. Bringing in a player like Kyle Lowry who has championship experience, a player that can attack the paint very well and is great at drawing fouls, with the ability to knock down the 3-point shot with the best of them. He shot 40% from the 3-point line last year on 7.2 attempts, and his averages last year were 17 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists on 44% shooting from the field, 40% from the 3-point line, and 88% from the free throw line. But in my opinion, his biggest attributes to the team is his playmaking and shooting. Since we were lacking in very good playmakers last season, even though we had Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they are not the playmaker Kyle Lowry is. And Goran Dragic was not that point guard. He's more of a scoring point guard, where Kyle Lowry has led the the entire league in assists before. And Kyle Lowry, in my opinion, will have the same impact Chris Paul did for DeAndre Ayton. Now, I'm not saying Kyle Lowry is better than Chris Paul, But what I am saying is Kyle Lowry will be looking to set Bam up offensively better than Goran Dragic ever did through the pick and rolls, through his lobs, the bounce passes, and the offensive scheme Eric Spoelstra will have Kyle Lowry in. And also his three-point shooting, like I prefaced earlier in the video, is very good. When Jimmy Butler actually decides he wants to put his head down and attack the paint, Kyle Lowry shot 42% from catch and shoot threes on 3 attempts, which made him 37th in the league. That's not a small sample size. That, in my opinion, that's very good. Also, we were able to replace Trevor Ariza and Andre Iguodala for PJ Tucker and Markieff Morris, 2 veteran forwards who both can space out the floor and are versatile defenders, especially the acquisition of PJ Tucker. I love since he fits the Miami Heat culture so perfectly with his toughness on the court, and with those acquisitions, we were still able to keep Duncan Robinson on a 5-year $90 million deal, which isn't too bad in my opinion. Also, we were able to keep Victor Oladipo on a minimum deal since I think he had nowhere else to go since he's been dealing with his knee injury, and he'll be recuperating for a good chunk of the season from his knee injury. But that's great that we were able to keep Victor Oladipo on a minimum deal. We were also able to keep Dwayne Dedmon, who's a solid big man. And now the player I'm expecting to have a breakout year coming into this season for the Miami Heat is Tyler Hero. And if I'm going to be honest to start, I'm overrated Tyler Hero after his bubble run. After I saw the performance he had against Boston and the performances he was having against the Lakers, I was expecting him to have a big jump coming into his second year into the league. And some would say he did get a little bit better. His points per game went up, his field goal percentage went up, but he didn't jump to the level I really expected him to. And that was me overrating him. But coming into this season, I'm expecting a breakout year from him since he's going to be coming off the bench, where he can be more of the Jordan Clarkson role, where he can just be focused on getting points off the bench. And it's come to the point where most fans, literally, it gotten to the point that Tyler Hero is underrated now, because people just love hating him just to hate him. It's the same thing with the Ben Simmons situation. Some people will say he's overrated, and then overnight he'll just become underrated all of a sudden. It's crazy to me. Now, I'm not naive. There are some concerns I do have with the decisions that they have made this offseason, and one of which is losing Kendrick Nunn for absolutely nothing. But I do understand why they couldn't bring him back. The contract situation, we couldn't have bring him back for the money that he would have so promptly deserved. So this situation is more understandable, but it's still a big blow to lose a young player like Kendrick Nunn. Another issue, which I would argue is the biggest concern I've had with the Miami Heat, and this could stop us from winning a championship for the next couple of years, that also was the contract that they gave to Jimmy Butler during this offseason. Now, as much as I love Jimmy Butler as the person, as a player, and as a tough person that he is, I must be candid on his situation. He was severely overpaid. Now, looking at his salary situation, at 34 years old, he'll be getting paid roughly $45 million. At 35 years old, he'll be getting paid $48 million. That's not even the worst one. At 36 years old, Jimmy Butler will be getting paid $52 million, which is just shocking to me, because I do not understand why would we pay this much money for Jimmy Butler. As much as I love Jimmy Butler as a player and as a person, do we really think he's going to be a top 5 player coming into this season? No. Do we even think at this current gesture this upcoming season, do we even think he's going to be a top 10 player in the league? No. Most people would have Jimmy Butler right outside the top 10, just like me. But we're going to be paying him like he's a top 5 player in the entire NBA, which is just very confusing to me. But brushing that off to the side, there is one more concern I do have with this roster, and that is the age. The Miami Heat at this current moment are the second oldest team in the NBA, second to the Los Angeles Lakers, which can be very detrimental since this team can very easily peak out in their first or second year, because the old players can regress very drastically in a year or two. We've seen that to many great players. In a year or two, they're done when they're in their old age. But even with all of these concerns, losing Kendrick Nunn, the Jimmy Butler contract, us being the second oldest team in the league, I still think we're going to win the championship coming into the season because I think the positives outweigh the negatives. Bam Adebayo, I'm expecting him to win the Defensive Player of the Year this year. Tyler Hero, I expecting him to at least be a top 3 player to be the 6th man award. Those are what I'm expecting from those 2 players. I'm expecting Kyle Lowry to play a huge factor for us this coming season. A combination of all of that, also with PJ Tucker playing at the 4, with Victor Oladipo who's going to come back at some point during the season. All of that, a combination of all of that, it will lead us to the NBA championship in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it's my opinion. We will see by July, June. So, but at the end of the day, I might be wrong and I don't care. So, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and tell me what you guys think about my take saying that the Miami Heat will win the championship this upcoming season. Make sure you guys follow my Twitter at DreamHoops, and your boy is out. Peace.